Hello and welcome back to Scale JDM Reviews. And on the bench today you can see that we have the stunning Tommy Kaira R, the R33 GTR that was tuned by Tommy Kaira themselves. Now if you're into JDM cars you will have heard at some point of Tommy Kaira. They've tuned a lot of cars, mainly Japanese cars. They have done a couple of European ones earlier in their early days, but they tend to stick to the Japanese cars, Subaru, Nissan, things like that. Now, strangely enough, most Tommy Kaira cars are rebadged or redesignated with M numbers. So, for example, we could have the Impreza, which was the M20B, M30, the M25s, the M30Z, which was Z32. The M13, which I think was the Nissan March, if memory serves me right, or in the UK and most of Europe it would be the Nissan Micra. But obviously, as you can see here, they kept with the original naming convention for the GTR, simply calling it the Tommy Kaira R. However, one thing you may not know about Tommy Kaira is they did actually produce their own car. It was a small kind of Lotus Elise style car. It was a two-seater sports car. It had an SR20 underneath the bonnet, which could push it up to speeds of 150 miles an hour. There was also a version that has an RB26. So yeah, it was a pretty bonkers nuts car. But of course, in order to do this, Tommy Kaira's roots were from physically tuning pre-existing Japanese cars. And just for those that have noticed, yes, I am English. Yes, I did say ZZ2. I didn't say ZZ2 because ZZ2 sounds pretty stupid. So yes, in this respect, when we use those letters, it's ZZ2. Anyhow, enough of the intros. Shall we see what's inside this box? And there we are. Now, as in usual Scale JDM Reviews fashion, I'm not one to fiddle about with bags and stuff while I'm doing my reviews. So I'm going to take a few seconds just to unbag the slot so you can get a good clear picture of what's inside this box. And there we are. I know it's not much to see because the instructions are on top of everything. That's kind of on purpose because I'm a bit nasty. So I'm going to just remove those and you can get to see what's underneath everything. So before we go any further, this is one kit I won't be building. This kit has actually been purchased by a friend of mine called the Eagles. I did mention him on an earlier video. He is going to be the lucky recipient of this kit, and I'm a bit jealous, to be honest, because it does look like a really nice one, especially with those decals. So Lee, enjoy it, you lucky man. Right then, shall we dive in? So the first thing we've got are these decals. So what we've got here is the Tommy Kaira decals that go along the door. We've actually got some blackouts for around the back lights. I've not seen those before on a kit. They do look pretty good. I guess they save you painting them. It must be part of the colour coding on the car. We have the black for the light bar on the back. Again, this is going to be another Tommy Kaira special. And you've got some there, the bits that go along the back of the bumper, around the exhaust. Well, these panels here, they actually hide the bolts and the screws that adjust the rear spoiler, because it still has the original GTR spoiler in it. And we have got the Tommy Kaira R just there, and a little tiny Tommy Kaira name there, and some Japanese window stickers, and of course the GT and the Nissan badge that was on the back. Of course, we have the Tommy Kaira Speedo there as well, which does actually look really lovely. I may have to take a copy of these decals before I send it out. And on the other side, we have some just regular sponsor decals just there, Costco, D-Speed, Weber, Solex, people like that. So yeah, very nice looking decals. Okay, so next we are going to look at a body part sprue. So the first thing we have here is we have the grille insert for the front of the car, which would be painted black, of course. We have the restyled front bumper just there, which looks very lovely. I'm guessing the inner bit of that is either going to be mesh or it's going to be like a front mounted intercooler type of thing. I'm guessing it's mesh, but that can be cut out and you can put some real mesh and a proper intercooler behind it. We have a Tommy Kaira steering wheel there, and the wing mirrors and the wing mirror inserts. Now, what you'll also notice is we have the normal GTR rear wing housing here, but we actually have a very different rear spoiler which goes inside it. Now we've got this little takeout bit, the little cutout here, and I guess the lip on that is slightly higher than a standard one, but again, it's all in the details, and obviously once it's put back together, once it's put all back together, it'll look pretty stunning. So next up, we have the standard Fujimi R33 Gtr Black Sprue. This is parts B, and we have the very basic brake discs there. Those can certainly be upgraded for something different. We have the original rear wing, the original steering wheel, obviously the steering column, the windscreen wipers, and the original wing mirrors and their insets. So the wing and the rearview mirrors will not be needed, of course, on the steering wheel as well, on the basis that you already have these in the kit on the Tommy Kaira Sprue. So we have the interior here. It's a nicely detailed bit. It's actually quite nice looking, actually, to be honest. Once it's painted up, it can look pretty good, pretty flash. And the center console here, which is also nicely detailed. You can see the radio, the 3 gauges, the air vents and things like that, even down to the tiny little square box there, which is for the wing mirrors and the wing mirror adjustment and things like that. Now we're going to look at the glass sprue. You can see here where it's greyed out the window. This is where you need to paint it black to simulate the rubber on the windows. We have the rear light bar for the indicators, the reverse lights, and also the back lights, brake lights just here, which are 2-piece, which I'm very thankful for, because the Tamiya and Aoshima ones are single round lights, and they're a pain in the backside to get in and get painted. We've also got the front fog lights, which are just here, and also the headlight covers just there, headlight lenses, sorry. Next up we have the chassis part of the Black Sprue. We have the extra chassis. Now, being a Fujimi kit, it doesn't have steering, which I still think is very bizarre in this day and age. I think you would have thought they would have re-released these molds with steering or something, but nope, no luck. But it is a nicely detailed, at least once it's all put together. It looks a bit bland there, but also once you've got the front and the rear subframes in place and stuff, they can be painted up nicely, and it does look pretty nice under completion. And we have the very comfortable GTR front seats, the standard exhaust, rear window screen wiper, because Skylines did have a rear window wiper, handbrake, rear view mirror, gear shift, and the center console. Not forgetting here is the original rear spoiler mount, which would go with the other black blade, but we wouldn't need this because there is a alternate version on the Tommy Kaira Sprue. So next up, one of my favourite bits, this is the wheels sprue. The tyres have been put on. They're not fitting very well because they're still on the sprue, but if we push that one down like that, you can see that it looks pretty tidy. These are Tommy Kaira wheels. They are very nicely detailed, of course, as you would expect from Fujimi wheels. They are a female fitment, so you'll be using the polycaps, and then obviously attaching them to one of 2 metal axles which come in the kit. But they are very lovely looking. Obviously, if you're going to build this as a true replica of a Tommy Kaira car, you would probably keep these the colour that they actually are, but I think that some of them did have darker centres. So as mentioned before, we have 2 axles, 2 metal axles, front and back, and obviously you would use these in conjunction with the polycaps, which we have just here. Lucky for Lee, there are actually 2 sets of polycaps in here, so if he loses a set, he's got another one to fall back on. And last but not least, piece de resistance, the actual GTR body. Just noticed there's some marking on the front there. Not too sure where that's come from. It could be just an age-related thing where it's been bounced about in the box, to be fair, but it can that'll be sanded out quite easily before it's painted. The body is it's a two-piece body because of the new front spoiler that would go in place there. The rest of the body kit is attached, including the back bumper. Obviously you'd have that black decal along there to make it look slightly different, and the black rear light inserts would be using the black decals as well. The wing mirror is attached to the side there, which is slightly different from the Tamiya variation, whereas you get the whole triangle on the back of the wing mirrors on the Tamiya version. The lights are already in place as well, so you'd need to paint those. And of course, it might be worth cutting that out and putting some mesh in there instead. But other than that, yes, it's a nice looking body. It's been moulded nicely. You can see some of the mould lines just there, although I can't see. There we go. Just I don't know if you can see that on the camera. That will need sanding down because that's quite a pronounced mould line just there. But it does follow just above where the backlights are, and it actually goes across the bumper. Across the bonnet, boot even. Can't speak tonight. And you have also another one that comes here. So this one needs a lot of preparation before it's painted to get it looking just sweet and smooth. So next up is the destructions, or instructions as normal people call it. It's not a very long set of instructions here, just literally 3 pages. But it's not a difficult kit to make, but it will look very, very nice once complete. So here we go, we'll go through it, shall we? So the bottom there, you can see that we have the layout of what is included in the kit. The greyed out areas are the bits that you do not need, and it shows obviously the wheels, the tyres and the polycaps, although it says you get one set there. Clearly not the case on this kit. So let's go to the next page. So you've got the complete model just there with the decal placement and the rubber edging around the windows and things like that. You can see how the new rear spoiler also fits on there. It's got a slight dip to it, and the black decals placement where they are on the back there. So when it comes down to building the kit, we have the chassis put together first, the brakes put on with some Brembo decals, which are on the decals sheet. And once that's done, it's time to put the wheels on, I should say. Moving swiftly on to the interior, which is very simple to put on. Obviously, make sure you put the instrument cluster in before you put the steering wheel on, otherwise it will make things very difficult for you. We've got the colour coding on the interior with the seats and everything. And getting on down, you've got the mounting to the chassis, and then the front bumper, which would normally, in my case anyway, be fitted and painted all in one with the body in the first place. Okay, next up we have the glass, obviously showing where it's shaded out is where it needs to be painted. Decal placement, just all the extras that go on the glass lenses, windscreen wipers, indicators, things like that, and even the mesh grille, or the plastic mesh grille. Putting it all back together with the new style rear spoiler and the rear light bar and the rear lights, and then finally putting it all back together so it makes one beautiful looking kit. And there it is. So I really do hope you've enjoyed the review and unboxing of this R33 Tommy Kaira R from Fujimi. It is a lovely looking kit. It's not a difficult kit to build, but it will look the part once it's finished. There are a few things you can do to it to make it a little bit more realistic, but obviously that's down to the builder's choice. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you on the next video for another review. Take it easy.